Right.
Hola.
Hey.
¿Cómo estás?
Welcome back, everyone.
Hello, and welcome to the Freemasons Podcast with your hosts, Right Worshipful Brother George Marjorie.
And Worshipful Brother Ken.
No Joey.
No.
You doing some Masonic stuff.
Yeah, he's got Masonic responsibilities, which I guess take precedent over the podcast responsibilities.
No.
No. I guess it depends who you ask.
We are up here in episode 212, and we are going to be doing George Washington and the real the real Thanksgiving
Yeah.
Day
Yep.
theme. And the reason why I kind of chose this, I know we're kind of going a little backwards, but
New stuff has come to light.
holidays have become so freaking corporate. They become, I don't know, they're whatever. It's all about, the freaking pilgrims in Plymouth Rock, and that's all BS. And then you got Santa Claus and all this, and that's BS too. It's not the real reason why Christmas is around for some fat guy to break into your house at, whatever hour of the morning and leave stuff rather than take stuff.
Yeah, and eat your food. It's kind of messed up when you think about it.
Uh-oh. I'm getting a call from Right Worshipful Shane.
Uh-oh.
Watch this.
Oh, this is not good. What did we do?
Hello, Right Worshipful.
How you doing, Right Worshipful?
We're live on the podcast right now, and so are you.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. What did we do?
No, you don't need to do another year. It's just our president of the association also stepping down, so we need to probably have
All right.
portion before you agree to go over all that.
Am I being voluntold for president? Is that what you're driving at?
If you want it, you can have it.
This sounds like a personal conversation.
Not at the meeting.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right, sounds good.
Bye.
So, Right Worshipful Brother Shane is, in fact, our podcast handler. So,
Yes.
when he calls, it means Grand Lodge has something to say. Luckily, this time it was only to George himself and had nothing to do with the podcast. So, let me just wipe some sweat from my brow.
I am stepping down from being the secretary of the Past Masters Association, and
You're sending a bounty 100 degrees?
shut up.
Stepping down from degrees?
Wait, that was a throwback. Huh?
I know. It's the first thing that came to mind when you said you were backing away from something.
Yeah, I'm backing away from a lot. Got some other stuff going on, as you well know.
Yeah, you got to prioritize your life.
I got a new job.
Yep.
I got a new position in two positions, I guess you say, municipal government and
Yes.
federal contractor.
Yeah. And you got a haircut.
And I did.
I don't know.
All right.
You can never tell, man. You comb in a different direction. It looks like you got your haircut.
No,
'cause
this
you
is
got
just
so few
lazy.
up
I
there.
didn't feel like doing it this morning because I went hunting with my boy the other day and tripped on a rock, and it was just a little bit of leaves on the top of a rock, and my foot slipped, and next thing you know, my sciatic goes out.
Oh, man. I was going to say, did you break something? Because
No, I
we're
didn't
at
break
that
anything.
age now. Where
I went ass over fist, and that was that.
Remember when we could do that, slip on ice, and we could just walk it off?
Get
Maybe
up
you have a
and
little bruise for a day, and now it's you're either gonna throw your hip out of joint, or
Now you're down for 2 days.
blow a knee out or your back. Not
Yeah.
cool.
Nope.
Old
Not cool.
sucks.
Jesus, is that what my hair looks like? Or
Yeah.
what's left of it?
It's slicked forward.
Jesus.
It's kind of.
I definitely don't have your Joe's genes.
It's a little unsettling, actually. From
And the
this
best
angle.
part is, I think I'm the youngest one. I'm the baby of us three.
You are. I don't know how that worked out. You,
I'm the one going bald first.
Yeah, you burned through life, though. You may have fewer years, but they were hard years.
Fair point. Fair point. Anyway, we're going to get into George Washington's The Real Meaning of Thanksgiving Day. However, before we do so, we don't have any Apple reviews, but what do you got for...
We might have some Instagram.
Instagram.
Let's take a look here.
While Ken is digging for that, we did our Secret Santa on Discord. That was a lot of fun. And though it's closed, you can't be part of it, as well as the fantasy football season is coming to its definitive close, and I think I'm getting spanked right now.
Yeah, none of the hosts are doing particularly well. We're all kind of middle of the road.
I am last year's defending champion, but I am getting my ass whooped. Thank you, McCaffrey.
Yeah.
There was actually a funny picture I seen. It was McCaffrey, and it was oh God, what was it? It was like a dude who was like I can't remember what the hell it was. But he was always injured and stuff. I think. Oh, that's what it was. It was the guy from what was that movie with Bruce Willis and
Die Hard?
No, Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson. Remember, Bruce Willis was the one who couldn't be hurt, but Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, so Mr. Glass.
Mr. Glass, yes.
What was the name of the movie? Unbreakable?
Unbreakable movie.
Yeah.
And it was a picture of him, Samuel L. Jackson, in that movie, and it says, "I'm going to tell my kids that this is McCaffrey." It was so he's injured.
It's been a rough season for him, man.
But hey, it all goes to charity. If you'd like to check out Discord, for as little as $5 a month, you can sign up for Patreon, and you sign up for Patreon, and you get the elusive gold tone Freemasons podcast pin as soon as we get more in production, as well as I said on YouTube, the 900 to 1,000 subscribers who, if you subscribe to us, I'm going to be making a challenge coin.
Yeah, and you also get other exclusive content, and you benefit the podcast. You help support us, and as you can see, if you're watching live or watching the recording, we're running a little low on supplies here, so every little bit helps, guys.
A little bit.
Tis the season of sharing.
And I just want to add one more thing to that. With the I was talking about the challenge coins, and then damn, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, well, continue. Go ahead.
$5
read them.
a month. All right, so over here on Instagram, we've got a few new followers. Ben Bennett, Mohammed Wakas, Will Newland, Jacob Warnock, Renee Hernandez, Michael Galagos, Mo Jacobs, KT, which I'm assuming means Knight Templar. Awesome. Sai Shahran Mathiala. I'm sorry, I mispronounced your name.
Welcome to my world.
It's a tough one, man. There's a lot of vowels in there. Jordan Ray Jordan. Okay, and Charles Steelman. So thank you, brothers and friends.
Oh, look at this telemarketer. Damn it, I missed it. I was going to put a telemarketer on live.
Oh, that would have been
awesome.
Entertaining. More so than Right Worshipful Brother Shane. I thought he was going to, drop a bomb on us or, throw a joke or something.
Text message right there.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know.
We'll talk later.
Yeah, that's weird. But,
anyway,
it is.
Let's get into the episode. We're doing the real Thanksgiving and what it was all about.
Oh, we got to toast our
our
likers.
Let's do that. I mean, I already got a little special something in my coffee, but
yeah. Well, this is it. We're down to the dregs now.
Yep, we're done.
Warm, nasty backwash. Oh, Evan Williams. Yeah, take the last of that.
Have at it.
I got a tiny.
Oh, you have a little bit?
Yeah,
but finish it off.
Yeah, mix
finish
that
it
bourbon.
off.
That's great.
Then we'll throw the bottles down into the street.
No, we don't do that. Masons don't do that.
Anyway, Ken.
Yeah.
Why don't you lead the charge?
All right. Brother, right hand to arms.
To arms.
Ready. Aim.
Aim.
Fire good fire. Fire all. Together, brother. Vivat, vivat, vivat.
All right. We don't have to worry about that shit no more.
Yeah, I know. It's gone from this universe.
Painful. All right. Thanksgiving. This actually comes from mountvernon.org.
Oh, cool.
George George Washington / the first president / Thanksgiving. Like I said, I know we're going to come a little backwards because we already celebrated Thanksgiving. We're well into the month of December. But again, just want to put it out there that not everything is what you see. It's not about killing,
birds.
I know people are like, how do I put this? They're I don't want to say triggered. What's the word?
No, I think triggered is probably
They
the
don't
word.
celebrate Thanksgiving because, it alludes to the Native Americans being slaughtered and everything. But I'm going to read this little article. This is from mountvernon.org, which specializes in all of George Washington.
They got a lot of cool articles on there. We've looked at them.
And we're going to find out what the real Thanksgiving was all about. Again, Brother George Washington was a Mason. So I swear to God, I thought you were finishing off that Evan Williams.
No, this is just water.
And is there a Grey Goose?
There is. Oh, that's right. We
got
never
the bottle of
opened
Grey Goose in
vodka.
there.
But we all hate vodka, so
We do. I don't hate vodka.
I don't either.
I don't
See if there's anything in
hate
there
it.
that we can
I
mix
just,
it with. Or...
I don't know. I can't drink it like straight shots of vodka. I
No,
don't
we
know.
can't use it to charge the
No,
cannons,
no.
but there might be something we can mix it with. I don't know.
Here we go. Thanksgiving. First president, George Washington and Thanksgiving. And then again, this is from mountvernon.org. George Washington led the charge to make this day of thanks a truly national event. And October 3rd, 1789, George Washington issued his Thanksgiving Proclamation, and we'll read that later, designating for, quote, the people of the United States a day of public thanksgiving, quote, to be held on Thursday, 26th day of November, 1789, marking the first national celebration of the holiday that has become commonplace in today's households. While subsequent presidents failed to maintain this tradition, it was Washington's original proclamation that guided Abraham Lincoln's 1863 Thanksgiving Proclamation. In fact, Lincoln issued his proclamation on the same day, October 3rd, and marked the same Thanksgiving Day, Thursday, November 26th, as Washington setting Thanksgiving as the last Thursday of November after our first president's example.
I thought it was Roosevelt who actually created Thanksgiving. I'm showing my ignorance here. All right.
The proclamation was printed in newspapers, including October 9th, 1789 issue of the Pennsylvania Packet and Daily Advertiser. Washington and Lincoln, man, I don't know who's the better president, but those two seem to walk hand in hand.
Yeah.
And just for those, Lincoln was not a brother.
No, Lincoln was not a brother.
He's not.
But he followed all the same moral precepts than a brother would. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It's like they're the same person, but like two completely different generations.
Maybe he was like, what's it called?
Like Washington reincarnated.
Reincarnated.
Yeah. The apotheosis of Washington. He can be reincarnated.
The day of Thanksgiving, George Washington first mentioned the possibility of a National Thanksgiving Day in a confidential letter to James Madison in August 1789, just months after taking office, asking for his advice on approaching the Senate for their opinion on a day of Thanksgiving. By the end of September 1789, a resolution had been introduced to the House of Representatives requesting that, quote, a joint committee of both houses be directed to wait upon the President of the United States to request that he would recommend to the people of the United States a day of public thanksgiving, quote. The committee put the resolution before President and George Washington's the President and George Washington issued the first National Thanksgiving Proclamation within days. George Washington knew the value of Thanksgiving Day long before becoming our president. During the Revolutionary War, he would order special Thanksgiving services for his troops after successful battles, as well as publicly endorse efforts by the Continental Congress to proclaim days of thanks, usually in recognition of military victories and alliances. So there you go. Thanksgiving had nothing to do with Plymouth Rock or turkeys or Indians or any of that.
It was purely a give thanks to God for,
That's what it was. It was Thanksgiving.
Good outcomes in martial matters.
And that's what it was. It was a religious holiday, in a sense.
Yeah,
it was a day of Thanksgiving to God. It had nothing to do with Plymouth Rock or any of that crap. It had to do with basically thanking God rather than, Pilgrims and Indians and Pocahontas and
I think the context may have changed after a certain point, but I mean, I think the point remains valid, right? Like it is still we're still giving thanks for what we have.
Correct.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Thank days. Even in the 18th century, the concept of Thanksgiving was not new to citizens of the new United States. Colonists, even before the Pilgrims, often established thanks days to mark certain occasions. These one-time events could occur at any time of the year and were usually more solemn than the Thanksgiving we observe today, emphasizing prayer and spiritual reflection. Thanksgiving was not made a legal holiday until 1941, when Congress named the fourth Thursday in November as our National Day of Thanks in answer to a public outcry over President Roosevelt's attempt to prolong the Christmas shopping year by moving Thanksgiving from the traditional last Thursday to the third Thursday of November.
He tried to move back Black Friday? Wow.
I don't think there's a Black Friday then, but
he was before his time. Well, I mean, it's kind of like the traditional first shopping day of the year.
Right.
Yeah, he wanted to just straight up move Thanksgiving to make the season longer. Nowadays, we just put up Christmas trees in stores and freaking, the day before Halloween.
Yeah.
They don't even care.
They don't even care anymore. Yeah. So that's where Roosevelt came in. Is he made it a national holiday, but he wanted to move it.
So he almost screwed it up and actually didn't succeed.
Apparently, people flipped out about it. They wanted it to stay where it was, and that's where you get Thanksgiving from.
Interesting.
And that's in 1941 is when it actually became a national holiday. So before then, it was more of a Washington proclaimed that day as a day of Thanksgiving. It was kind of like our Christopher Columbus Day, where it's like some people, schools really don't get off, buildings are still open, businesses are still open, banks are still open.
Get it off now.
Really?
Yeah,
it's bankers.
They need every holiday off. Yeah. That's all they need is a proclamation. All right. Yep. Day off. Shut the doors. Bank online.
Let's see here. So just continuing on here, that's the end of the article, but I'll read the proclamation, actually what it said. But Thanksgiving at Mount Vernon. This is we'll plug a little bit for Mount Vernon. If you have never been to Mount Vernon, go check it out. I've never been there myself. I would love to go. Mount Vernon is open 365 days a year, including Thanksgiving Day. Bring your family and friends to the home of the first president. Walk the grounds, explore the museum, and meet a special holiday visitor, Aladdin the Camel. What the?
Is it a Christmas donkey? Aladdin the Camel.
Aladdin the Camel.
There's got to be an interesting story behind that nonsense.
Better than Dominic the Donkey, right, Joe?
I don't know. Only Joe has an issue with Dominic.
He does have an issue with Dominic. So let's get into the Thanksgiving Day proclamation. We're going to switch over to this. And I'm going to read this. This is Washington's Proclamation of 1789 in regards to Thanksgiving.
You sure you don't want to wear the powdered wig for this?
I should.
I mean, if you're going to make a proclamation.
I'm going to make a proclamation.
You better look
and I
like
have to start with
George.
hear ye, hear ye.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, this thing is dank.
Yeah.
It's falling apart. Needs a perm.
All rise for Judge Right Worshipful Brother George Mudry.
No, not. Oh, my God, my headphones don't even
Yeah,
fit.
it's weird. You'll get used to it.
Hear ye, hear ye. No, I'm joking. By the President of the United States. I can't do it.
Is it too itchy?
It's got too much hair. I have no hair, so I'm not used to having hair in my face. I can't do it.
That's unfortunate.
By the President of the United States by the President of the United States of America, a proclamation. It's a weird way to word it. All right, whatever.
That's how they did it.
True. Whereas it is the duty of all nations to acknowledge the providence of Almighty God, to obey His will, to be grateful for His benefits, and humbly to implore His protection and favor. And whereas both houses of Congress have by their joint committee requested me to recommend to the people of the United States a day of public thanksgiving and prayer to be observed by acknowledging with grateful hearts the many signal favors of Almighty God, especially by affording them the opportunity peaceably to establish a form of government for their safety and happiness. Mm-hmm. So there you go. It was nothing about. There was no turkey in there. There was no.
Nope. It's just National Day of giving thanks for everything that we have.
You good? You hitting puberty or something?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Water went down the wrong pipe.
Now, therefore, I do recommend and assign Thursday, the 26th, a day of November, next to be devoted by the people of these states to the service of that great and glorious being, who is the beneficent author of all the good that was, that is, or that will be. Oh, Joe would have totally made a freaking wrestling reference on that one. On the best there ever was, the best America. Isn't that a Flair?
I do. Yeah, it's a Ric Flair thing. I think.
That we may then all unite in rendering unto him our sincere and humble thanks for his kind care and protection of the people of this country, previous to their becoming a nation, for the signal and manifold mercies and the favorable interpositions of his providence, which we experienced in the course and conclusion of the late war. He's talking about the Revolutionary War.
Yep.
For the degree of tranquility, union, and plenty, which we have since enjoyed, for the peaceable and rational manner in which we have enabled to establish constitutions of government for our safety and happiness, and particularly the national one, now lately instituted for the. Let me stop right quick because this is very detailed there. What he's basically saying is he is giving thanks right now to the new nation being born, and when he says right here in this thing, and particularly the national one, which is capitalized, now lately instituted. He's talking about the United States. Understand?
The national one.
The national. He's talking about the nation.
Okay.
Understand? Before the Revolutionary War, each state sat independent. Mm-hmm. So when he says the national one,
he's
talking about them as a whole nation.
Us coming together.
Okay. The national one. For the civil and religious liberty with which we are blessed, and the means we have of acquiring and diffusing useful knowledge, and in general for all the great and various favors which he hath pleased to confer upon us. So he's, again, giving thanks to God. He's saying thanks to God that he was able to give us this gift of having our own nation. It's pretty much what he's saying.
I mean, he's kind of keeping himself out of it, though, in the traditional George Washington way of being super humble.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not saying, I'm the president.
Yeah. God gave me the ability to give you all this good stuff, so now you should thank me. Yeah, that's not what he's saying.
Yeah, he's giving actually thanks to God and the nation in a sense. And also that we may then unite in most humbly offering our prayers and supplications to the great Lord and ruler of nations, and beseech him to pardon our national and our other transgressions. Our national and other transgressions. My assumption would be...
Well, we make mistakes. Have mercy. Forgive us.
Maybe the shitty things we did there to the Indians.
I don't know if he's going that far. But yeah, I mean, I guess he's kind of lumping it all under one. You know? We're going to screw up. We're going to make mistakes.
Even before Andrew Jackson went and did his... Andrew Jackson went and gave typhoid blankets to Indians and stuff. I mean, understand... The Indians sided with the English, and they were not very well liked by the Americans because the Indians they were known for raiding American towns and
which still,
villages.
If you look back through the kind of historical lens that we have the benefit of seeing all these events through, they did side with the British, but that still doesn't mean you do what we did.
No.
You know what I mean? It was still a messed up thing. It was, they didn't know, really. No. Most of them didn't know who they were. They were just two Indians, groups of white men here,
And the Indians were picking because the British did not want to. They didn't want to expand westward.
Right.
That was a solely American thing. Right. The Americans were saying, "Let's go west. Let's go west. Let's go west, young man."
Right. Yeah.
Whereas the English were like, "No. This is where we're going. We ain't going any further." Yeah. And they did not want the Americans to go there.
So they look at it and we're like, "Hey, we get a whole half of a continent versus these other guys that are being super imperialist," which is weird because it's usually the British that are being imperialists. But yeah, right. I mean that's
Well, understand the English were getting what they needed out of the colonies. They were after the tobacco. They were after the spices, the sugars, and stuff like that. They were the wheat.
The East Coast is all they really needed for that.
That's all they needed.
Where all
the
resources were.
And traveling west into territory you're unfamiliar with is. Right. And don't forget, you also had the French. Well, had the French for a while there. You had the Spaniards that were out there, and Spain was no friend of England. So if we keep this little buffer zone in between the Spanish-held areas, and our areas, we're good.
And it makes for a good story to tell the Native Americans to get them on your side.
Right. And that's exactly what they did.
Know all the terrain and stuff already.
So in the Indians' defense, they did what they thought was best for their people, which, the Americans are saying, we're going to come take your territory, and the English are saying, no, we're not. We're not going to bother you. You guys go do your thing.
Yeah.
We've already taken enough. So, I mean, it makes sense that the Indians would ride with the what are they called? The British.
Yeah. I just didn't want to make any excuses for...
But understand when the Revolutionary War was going on, the Indians were now raiding into the American towns and villages, which infuriated the Americans, and they went and did some really heinous shit. They went and they burned down all their little Indian camps and stuff like that. They did
villages. Yeah.
Villages. I mean, they mashed the fuck out of them, if you could pardon my French, but they did some real bad shit. They threw them off their land when they took it. It was pretty ugly. Yep. So maybe that's what he's talking about, the transgressions. Pardon our national and other transgressions. Our national transgressions, meaning things we do bad as a nation, and other transgressions. Yeah, that's where I'm going with it anyway. That's probably what he's talking about.
Could be that and many other things that he's thinking of.
Yeah. To enable us all, whether in public or private stations, to perform our several and relative duties properly and punctually, to render our national government a blessing to all the people.
Oh,
I mean, I think
it
it's
was
nice.
Formed with the intent to be a blessing to all the people.
Yeah. If only politicians in this day and age would read some of this shit and understand that they're here to help us.
Right.
And we're not here to serve them.
To be subjugated.
It's subjugated. And that's pretty much, and I'm going to get too political. I'm not getting political, but I mean, he's saying right there, like, to render our national government as a blessing to the people. He wants the people to see the government as a blessing rather than a deterrent, I guess.
And he wants the people in government to be worthy of that. Yeah. So.
Boy.
Yeah. Times have changed.
We need a revolution.
I don't know about that. Things need to change.
Continuing on. By constantly being a government of wise, just, and constitutional laws. Oh, my God. I'm getting chills reading this. Discreetly and faithfully executed and obeyed to protect and guide all sovereigns and nations, especially since we have shown kindness unto us, especially such as have shown kindness to us. I think that was definitely talking to France on that one.
Yeah, take care of your allies. Yeah.
French came. I mean, I know we make fun of the French and everything, but realistically, in the American Revolution, if it wasn't for the French, we'd be saying g'day.
Yeah, they bailed us. G'day. We wouldn't be saying g'day. We'd be a prison colony, is what you're saying?
No. I don't know. The Australians got a crazy weird accent, so I just figured the Americans would have some sort of an accent.
We'd have some other kind of
we'd
weird.
Have some kind of a weird accent. Right?
Well, at any rate. Yeah, the French did bail us out.
It was a dirty shot at the Aussies. With
we really shouldn't do that too. We got a lot of them following us now. They have strength in numbers.
I'm just playing. Let's see here. Yeah, but I think he was talking to the French about that one because those were our allies. They came to our defense. They, kudos to them. They helped build the United States of America.
Yep.
And then you got the Lafayette. He was a major player.
Yep. And he was a brother too.
Yes, he was.
Yep. Marquis de Lafayette.
Yep. He was a major player, and he was close to Washington, amongst others. And to bless them with good government, peace, and concord. Get sick reading this.
Sounds pretty idyllic.
To promote the knowledge and practice of true religion and virtue, and the increase of, and he spelled it weird, not increase, it's Encrease. I'm assuming that's an old English version of saying increase.
Yeah, I guess.
That's why I paused.
Look for the context.
Not because I don't know how to spell increase. And the increase of science among them and us. And generally to grant unto all mankind such a degree of temporal prosperity as he alone knows to be best. Interesting. And generally to grant unto all mankind such a degree of temporal prosperity as he alone knows to be best. Was that a shot at talking about saying the government doesn't know everything and we should just leave people the hell alone? Kind of how I freaking...
I don't know if it was a shot, but he was alluding to that fact. Temporal prosperity is a weird way of saying it, though.
Temporal prosperity is you alone know what's best for you.
No,
right?
Temporal means time, so it's like... Yeah, it's weird.
Interesting. All right.
I don't know. I just remember that from Star Trek, right? If there's a temporal anomaly, it just means there's like some kind of like, somebody's coming back from the past or something and like jumping into space-time. I don't know. It means time. But
given
under prosperity, I don't know.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Time-bound prosperity, I guess. So like they're gonna be prosperous for a long. I don't know. It's weird.
Okay.
Sticking in my craw.
Oh my God. Jesus. Given under my hand at the city of New York, the 3rd day of October in the year of our Lord, 1789. George Washington.
Yeah.
So New York City. Why New York City? Because Washington, D.C. wasn't a thing yet.
Yeah.
We didn't have a capital. Actually,
New
York City was the capital.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is interesting. I don't know why they didn't choose Philadelphia, considering that's where the Continental Congress met.
Yeah, I mean, they had a number of different options. I guess they just sort of decided that creating its own purpose-built city for our capital was somehow, had more gravitas than choosing a city that had already popped up. I don't know. That's a weird one. I'm going to have to look into the history behind that. Worshipful Brother George, man, that guy knew how to make a proclamation.
I'm going to look up Lincoln's Thanksgiving Proclamation. Let's see here. And this is, straight off of AbrahamLincolnOnline.org.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm betting it's a lot longer.
No, not really.
Washington's, no?
No, it's actually not bad at all.
He had a reputation.
Yes, he had a reputation
very
for
verbose.
drumming on.
Yeah.
I'm going to read this one because this is a little bit closer to modern day. I mean, kind of still far way the hell off,
relatively speaking.
I don't think what's his name, Roosevelt, made a Thanksgiving proclamation because they were throwing tomatoes and cabbage at him because he tried moving the date.
Yeah, and Congress just made it a national holiday, and then he walked away.
So here we go. By the President of the United States of America, a proclamation. Let's hear. The year that is drawing toward its close has been filled with the blessings and fruitful fields and healthful skies. To these bounties, which are so constantly enjoyed that we are prone to forget the source from which they come. How true. Others have been added, which are of so extraordinary a nature that they cannot fail to penetrate and soften even the heart which is habitually insensible to the ever watchful providence of Almighty God. So here you go again. He's giving thanks to God. This is even in 1863. Mm-hmm. It's October 3rd, 1863. He's giving homage to God on Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. That's what Thanksgiving is for.
Still nothing about turkeys.
Nope. In the midst of a civil war of, I'm sorry, the writing is really small. I'm going to try to expand this. It's like really hard to read.
Control Plus or Apple Plus, or you got a Mac over there? Is that a Mac?
Yeah.
It's one of those modifier keys.
Oh, there we go. It's a matter of
zoom. Yeah. Pinchy zoom.
The pinchy zoom. In the midst of a civil war of unequaled magnitude and severity, which has sometimes seemed to foreign states to invite and to provoke their aggression, peace has been preserved with all nations. Order has been maintained, the laws have been respected and obeyed, and harmony has prevailed everywhere except in the theater of military conflict.
So basically we enjoy a peaceful existence here at home is what he's saying.
Pretty much. Except for military conflict.
Except for military
conflict. I don't know.
It's kind of the worst thing, but whenever.
I was just going to say, it's kind of burned down a shitload of towns and cities.
Civil War kind of sucked, but I mean, this is right after the Civil War, too, right?
Yeah, and Axl Rose came out with a song right after this.
Yeah, so it's during the Restoration. It's, so, I mean, I guess it's a time of relative peace.
Right.
Except in foreign war situations.
Correct.
That's when Axl Rose was born.
Yeah, literally. He came out with that song 2 days later.
He used to actually come out on stage on time, too, back then, I think.
While that theater has preserved all nations... Oh, wait. Let me... Did I skip a line?
It's hard because
it's very hard because I'm expanded here.
It's not text. It's like
it's
like an image
block,
kind
right?
of. It's like rasterized, so it's difficult for him to read. More difficult than normal, anyway.
Let me see here. While that theater has been greatly contracted by the advancing armies and navies of the Union, Navies, navies.
Navies. Weird
Needful diversions of wealth and of strength from the fields of peaceful industry and to the national defense have not arrested the plow, the shuttle or the ship. The axe has enlarged the borders of our settlements and mines, as well of iron and coal as of precious metals have yielded even more abundantly than heretofore. Population has steadily increased, notwithstanding the waste that has been made in the camp. The siege and the battlefield, and the country rejoicing in the consciousness of augmented strengths and vigor. Holy crap, he needs to learn how to use friggin' periods.
Yeah, well,
is permitted to expect continuance of years with large increases of freedom. Holy Christ.
so he's basically saying, hey, we had some adversity.
We had some...
The economy's doing great. We've got all these awesome, like, technological, marvels and new developments, and like we've got a lot to say thank you for.
What's going on, Oscar? That's what he's talking about. In the beginning, he's talking about, our settlements have enlarged, and we're getting more precious minerals out of the earth.
We got mad resources, which is good.
And there was this little war thing that happened. But
that sucks. But despite that,
despite
look at how
that,
great
we're doing good.
Yeah.
I mean, Savannah got freaking not Savannah, Atlanta got freaking
razed to the ground.
Basically, I mean, Sherman burned the shit though. He burned the whole damn. Bring the whole city down.
Getting a little overzealous, I think.
No human counsel hath devised, nor hath any mortal hand worked out these great things. They are the gracious gifts of the Most High God, who, while dealing with us in anger for our sins, hath nevertheless remembered mercy. It has seemed to me fit and proper that they should be solemnly, reverently, and gratefully acknowledged as with one heart and one voice by the whole American people. All right. When did the Civil War end? 1864, right? It was over.
I think so, yeah. What year was this written? Was this 1870s, you said? This proclamation?
I'm giving advice in grammar.
Oh, well, yeah. You were giving Abraham Lincoln crap for not using periods. Joe Schultz is like, oh, yeah, George is giving advice in grammar.
Kind of walked into that one.
Yeah, you really did. Does that have a date on it, that one?
This has October 3rd, 1863. And the reason why I'm asking that question, if anybody could tell me when, if you're watching in the comments, let me know when the Revolutionary, or the Civil War was over with.
I think it was still going on.
Because what I'm gathering here is he's already talking about, Gettysburg was when?
I don't know.
July, I can't remember the year, though.
I sadly did not really pay very close attention in history class. I will find out for you.
And the reason why I'm asking is because the way he's talking is that when he's saying the one American people, the whole American people, he's already talking about pretty much, what do you got for a year?
No, the armistice was 1865.
Okay, so, just curious about Gettysburg.
Well, Gettysburg.
Because I'm wondering if this is, Gettysburg was 1864, I think, because the year.
Yeah, it was just before the end of the war, I think it was.
So he's already basically talking about, no human counsel hath devised or hath any mortal hand out of these great things. He's giving praise to God, saying the Most High. Even while God might be pissed off at us, he has shown mercy, and he's saying we need to basically acknowledge that with one heart as a whole American people. So what he's in a sense doing is he's what happened?
It's cool. I think we just need to go back into and we're still live streaming. Close the window.
What he's basically talking about is we need to just go to YouTube, not the studio. Just go to straight YouTube. It'll be there.
We're already live.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's been running.
1865. So what he's talking about, he's already preparing for the end of this war. So I think that Lincoln was a little, I think at this point, a little overconfident that Gettysburg was in 1863. Oh, so it's July 4th. So Gettysburg already happened because this was written October 3rd. So Gettysburg already happened. Lee already got his ass whooped. So he's talking at this point about, the war coming to a close, we're going to be one nation again. So he's already confident. He's already, showing his big balls that, we're going to win.
I think that's fair to assume. Yeah.
So that's why he's saying the whole of American people.
Yeah.
I do therefore invite my fellow citizens in every part of the United States. There you go. He's showing his balls again. And also those who are at sea and those who are sojourning in foreign lands to set apart and observe the last Thursday of November next as a day of thanksgiving and praise to our beneficent Father, who dwelleth in the heavens. And I recommend to them that while offering up the ascriptions justly due to him for such singular deliverances and blessings, they do also with humble penitence for our national perseverance and disobedience. Right? What? With humble penitence for our national perseverance and perseverance and disobedience. What the hell is disobedience? Oh, he's talking about the South.
Yeah.
Perseverance of the North, disobedience of the South. Yeah. He's talking to the nation as a whole.
Yeah. Okay.
Commend to his tender care all those who have become widows, orphans, mourners, and sufferers in the lamentable civil strife in which we are unavoidably engaged, and fervently implore the interposition of Almighty hand to heal the wounds of the nation and to restore it as soon as it may be consistent with the divine purpose to the full enjoyment of peace, harmony, tranquility, and union. I gotta say, there are a lot, for a guy who wasn't a Mason, there's
a lot of Masonic
words in there.
Yeah.
A lot. I mean,
although
peace, tranquility.
Yeah, I mean, those words may have been,
I mean, he's talking about he called them the Most High God, which we really don't
harmony.
Harmony.
A lot of times, yeah.
He said right here, to the health of the widows, orphans.
Yeah.
I mean.
Which was it's typical phraseology, I think, at that point in history. But yeah, it's the exact same. He's creating this for the exact same reason that George Washington created his proclamation. So there really aren't any innovations here. There's no changes that he's making. Yep. It's still, hey, the nation is in a time of war, but we have a lot to be thankful for. So give thanks to God. Same thing that George was saying.
And I just want to say, to my Christian friends who go around saying that this nation was founded upon Christianity, in those two proclamations, you didn't hear anything about good old JC. You didn't hear anything about Muhammad. You didn't hear anything about. It was just Most High God or Almighty Father or something like that. That's what Masonry is all about. We don't designate.
And indeed, this nation was founded on the concept of religious independence. Like, correct. You can worship however you want. That's always been the case.
Correct. So. And that's what he's talking about. He's Most High God. I mean, all nations believe in a God. Or not all nations. Excuse me. All religions believe in a higher power and a God. So he's not distinguishing. He's just saying Most High God. He's not saying, good old JC, we need to, go to church or anything. He didn't say any of that.
Y'all don't need Jesus.
Y'all don't need Jesus.
Yeah.
In testimony whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the United States to be affixed, done in the city of Washington, this 3rd day of October in the year of our Lord, 1863, and the independence of the United States, the 88th. What the hell is that? And of the independence of the United States, the 88th. Oh, 88th year of being independent.
Oh.
Right?
I guess that lines up.
Right? Does it line up? I don't know. I'm assuming that's what he meant. And that was by President Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, the math seems right. So
yeah, let's see if there was a do one more because we still got a little bit of time. Let's see if Roosevelt,
whether he did a proclamation or not.
Thanksgiving Proclamation. Roosevelt Thanksgiving Proclamation. I'll be damned. There is one.
That's probably just
archives.gov.
Please stop throwing radishes at me. Your friends.
And it's right here. Yeah, joint resolution. It's not a proclamation. It's just more of the legal readings of it.
So this is the creation of the national holiday?
Yes, this is the creation of the national holiday.
Congress is...
it was called H.J. Res 41, and then the Senate basically did it, and that was that. His proclamation just says, "You mad, bro?"
Come at me, bro. You mad, bro.
Interesting. So here's how Thanksgiving came about, but it's not. He didn't write a proclamation or anything. He just called it a day of public Thanksgiving First time Thanksgiving was celebrated under a new constitution. Subsequent presidents issued Thanksgiving proclamations, but the dates and even months of the celebrations varied. It wasn't until President Abraham Lincoln's blah, blah, blah. We just covered that. Mm-hmm. In 1939, however, the last Thursday in November fell on the last day of the month. What? Really?
Yeah. I mean, you can have a Thursday as the last day of a month.
Okay.
Yeah. 30th.
Concerned that the shortened Christmas shopping season might dampen economic recovery, President Franklin D. Roosevelt issued a presidential proclamation moving Thanksgiving to the second to last Thursday in November.
People are like, what the
You son of a bitch!
Yeah, I expect to buy my turkey in the exact same day every year.
As a result of the proclamation, 32 states issued similar proclamations, while 16 states refused to accept the change in proclamated Thanksgiving to be the last Thursday in November. For 2 years, the 2 days were celebrated on Thanksgiving. Oh, so there was two.
Yeah. Some states ratified it, and some states were like, F you.
So 32 ratified it, where it was going to be the second to last Thursday. Yeah, I know, right? The president and part of the nation celebrated on the second to last Thursday in November, while the rest of the country celebrated it the following week.
That's so weird.
Right? To end the confusion, Congress decided to set a fixed date for the holiday. On October 6, 1941, the House passed a joint resolution declaring the last Thursday in November was to be the legal Thanksgiving Day. The Senate, however, amended the resolution establishing the holiday as the fourth Tuesday, which would take into account those years when November had 5 Thursdays. The House agreed to the amendment, and President Roosevelt signed the resolution on December 26, 1941, thus establishing the fourth Thursday in November as a federal Thanksgiving holiday. I find it funny, they're in the middle of a Second World War, and this is the big argument.
Yeah. Did they pack any other fluff into that bill? Was there any, what do they call it when they pack a bunch of other BS in there? There's a political term for it.
Oh, you're talking about where they pack more
like
shit.
You sandbag more stuff in. Is it called fluffing?
I don't know.
Something like that.
I'm not that high in the government yet. I'll let you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right. Actually, this resolution is on December 26th. So, wow. It started on October 6th is when they started this whole thing. So, just to think, in between there, the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor.
Yeah. Yeah, so they had more
important
stuff to worry about.
Yeah. So just pick a day. Just pick a goddamn day. We got other shit going on.
Yeah. We gotta go to war with like the Empire of Japan. So if you guys could just stop squabbling over this crap, that would be great.
And I really don't need to read the I mean, they're short, but I mean the resolutions and stuff. But and then it just says it's a legal holiday. There's no speak of what it was. So I don't know where the hell the whole Turkey Day,
where the turkey thing came up from,
or where people just perverted it into being about pilgrims and all that stuff. Because even the Aussies like, I don't get this.
I feel like it was before World War II, because I feel like I've seen pictures of soldiers celebrating Thanksgiving and having like turkey and stuff. So I think it was before that. They just, obviously they didn't bake anything into the national holiday declaration that Congress made in the 40s saying that you have to eat turkey or something like that. But I have a feeling that tradition came about somewhere in between Abraham Lincoln maybe and...
the turkey industry got a hold of it, and they're like...
we could make a killing off this. Worshipful brother Joe Schultz. Thanksgiving was meant to unify us, and it's a shame some people today try to use it to divide us. Well,
then he also wrote, you mean we could have had 2 turkey days, twice the food and football and days off?
That's true. Well, I mean, you would have had to go to 2 different states to celebrate both. But hey, whatever. You might be on one of those border states, right? You just float right over into New Jersey and get your second Thanksgiving in.
But it had nothing to do with pilgrims or any of this stuff. So, I just got to tell you, do your history, do your reading, read history. You know what I mean? Don't take what I would have to call corporate businesses word that, it's about pilgrims and Santa's about, there's stories behind all of our traditions. There's stories behind it. They were talking, when we were reading earlier, it was basically saying that Thanksgiving was celebrated randomly throughout the year. Like they would just randomly have a Thanksgiving Day feast or whatever the hell.
They were thanks days, right?
Thanks days, and they were homage to God.
Basically, whenever you won a battle.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's have a thanks day. Yeah.
That was when Washington's camp, but it was saying even before then people were celebrating it randomly and all that stuff. So it really had absolutely nothing to do with pilgrims or coming over here to Plymouth Rock and, any of that crap. So realistically,
it sounds like a really like puritanical kind of holiday when you think about it, having thanks days and like throughout the year have multiple days where you make a holiday out of giving thanks to God. It sounds like something a Puritan would invent.
Yeah.
So it probably came from, but yeah, it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with pilgrims.
Joseph Schultz, I don't want to read. I'd rather get all my news from you guys.
Well, that is not a good plan, my friend.
Yeah, we've kind of talked about it on here with like Christmas, and that's kind of why I brought this episode up. I know we're backtracking a little bit, going to Thanksgiving, but same thing with Christmas. Like when I've talked about like the pagans would celebrate the day of the whatever it was, the winter solstice, or the day of the light, where they would light torches and stuff and do this. This is where Christmas comes from. This is where all of and you get. Unfortunately, the stories change as you move out through history, which is kind of common. I think stories change. I mean, you get the telephone game, in regards to history, just like anything, and but just understand that I wanted to pick out this one because Brother George Washington was a Mason. And he gave homage to God and all that stuff. Like he set up these things. He didn't take any credit for himself.
No, he was very humble man.
Humble as hell. Yeah. Neither did actually Lincoln. So hats off to him too. He didn't take any credit. They always looked to a positive light, and they always were giving thanks for things and asking forgiveness for things. Yep. And talk about humble.
Yeah,
it's pretty wild.
Most history, study it so that we don't repeat it.
And on top of that, people aren't like that as much anymore.
Yeah.
You get a select few, but,
Well, we talked about the fact that Washington's rules of civility, most of those have completely gone out the window. Like, those are just forgotten manners. Like, you say nowadays, oh, my child has manners. It's like they say please and thank you. They use the right fork at the table, stuff like that. I mean, there were a lot more rules than that.
Here's one for you.
Being.
I got one for you.
Okay.
What did you call your neighbor? Let's say you had a neighbor. You had kids in the neighborhood that you played with when you were a kid.
Yeah.
What did you call their parents?
Mr. and Mrs.
Bingo.
Whatever. Yeah.
That's like a lost art.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I called it was Mr. and Mrs. Glavinsky, or it was Mr. and Mrs. Riley, or Mr. and Mrs. Levi. Like there was no.
Back in Washington's day, if you didn't say that, they would execute you or something. So.
Dude, let me tell you what. If I ever was like, "Hey, what's up, Laura?" I'd hear my father from across the street just.
Yeah, exactly.
Whack. Boom.
That's what you get.
Hey, Legarius, what's going on? So yeah, it's just. I feel bad sometimes. Like I don't feel bad. It just kind of sucks that the old ways of doing things seems to be eroded. And I know you got to catch up with the times and all stuff. Not me.
Well, I think Freemasonry in general is still a bastion of those kinds of rules of civility, right? And we've talked about that too, where it's we keep a lot of those traditions alive just by virtue of the fact that we still speak the same way.
Yeah.
That they. Oh,
that was me. I pulled the wire. Sorry. I'm caught. That's why.
And we talk about the same moral virtues that were super important in the 1800s. So. I think there's still a place in the world, and I think there are still people that are big proponents of manners and just being, gentlemanly or civil, if you will.
I think we need to go back to the yays and nays and words like hath.
Yeah, and shalt.
And shalt.
Yeah.
George shalt be at the meeting.
Thou shalt join Patreon for $5 a month, so that we don't have to talk like this anymore.
And how elegant people talked. And forget the handwriting, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and the letters. And look at the proclamations and stuff. Like when you had to write something formally,
look at the freaking charter. I'm sure you've seen your Harmony charter.
Yeah. Yep.
The original one. Ours looks like the freaking Declaration of Independence and how people write. My handwriting is like...
you can still take a class in calligraphy. It's just not as popular as it used to be, right? So,
I would love to
learn
write
to be that
everything like that, though.
Yeah, okay. Well, take a class in calligraphy. You can even go on YouTube. You can learn anything on YouTube.
Right. And instead of you writing F's or S, it would look like a backwards F.
Yeah, with a little...
with a little line through the middle of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I truly have said this before. I was born in the wrong century.
Probably, but you know what? You're in politics now, or you're in public service now. You should probably learn to write like that, and then write all your letters that way. And then all of your colleagues will be like, "What the hell? Like, this dude is legit." That should be like your claim to fame, your shtick,
or
part of your platform.
Or they'll think I'm freaking knucking futs, and then
That's all right too, though, because you kind of are. All right, so be transparent with your constituency. Like, what a concept. Yeah.
Anyway, what do you say, Ken?
Yeah.
Joe's not here today, so in lieu of him not being here, make sure everybody sends him an audio clip of the song Dominic the Donkey and Mama Meets Jesus. Those are his two absolute favorite Christmas songs.
Yeah,
so
it gets him in the spirit.
Gets him in the spirit.
It makes him happier this time of year. So I'm looking forward to seeing his face after he receives all of this.
He's gonna be so pissed next episode.
He's gonna be very jolly. It's like flooding, right? It's like a cognitive behavioral therapy technique. After he gets that many of those copies sent to him, he's not going to hate it anymore.
I think so.
Right? He's going to be okay with it.
I think if
he'll be up here singing it all the time. Like, he's going to be.
Honk. Anyway, we're just saying,
I'm ready
for the Freemasons podcast. I'm right, Worshipful Brother George Mudry signing off,
and Worshipful Brother Ken signing off.
Thank you guys all for tuning in. Have a good night.
Yep. Have a great night.